Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, July 9, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we need to highlight the fact that we had an earthquake today. It states here the earthquake unit has confirmed a minor 3.6 magnitude earthquake in southwest Portland, Jamaica at 4:15 p.m. on Wednesday, July 9, 2025. Remember to drop cover and hold on when you feel shaking associated with an earthquake. They can happen at any time. As you can see here, this red star represents where we had the epicenter of the earthquake, right here across southwestern Portland, right here across northern St. Andrew, right there on the border for sure. Magnitude 3.6, nothing too significant. We know anything from a 3.0 to a 3.9 is considered minor, so it may be felt, it may not be felt. Then we have light, that's 4 to 4.9. Then moderate, which was what we had in 2023. Strong, we don't want strong. Damage may occur. So too major and great earthquakes, we don't want to see any of those earthquakes at all. Let it remain minor. The more minor earthquakes the better, because boy, you're not handling any strong or major earthquakes at all. And we definitely asked some of our followers if they felt the shaking. We have Angela Meadows stating here, my mind thought about it. Maybe that's when it happens. Strange coming on here and seeing this. God help us. We have Jonah Chisholm. Yes, West Rural, St. Andrew. We have David saying, yeah, he felt the shaking. We have Cassie stating, yes, St. Andrew. One sharp dege jerk. Now I was waiting on the other part. We have M. Simani stating Kingston is where she felt it. Susan stating that she felt it as well. Jamaican Curve stating yes, Kingston. Z, yes, Kingston. And I guess that's it for the comments. There are too many comments to read. I didn't feel anything in my part of St. Thomas at all though. But we need to highlight some expert insight here. It states here, we're looking at something from Andy Hazelton on Twitter. He is actually an associate scientist at the University of Miami, and he makes some accurate posts about the Atlantic hurricane season from time to time. So he stated here, it's been interesting to see how persistent the shear has been across the Caribbean so far. More like an El Nino setup despite a cool neutral Enzo look. Models suggest high shear will continue for the rest of July with a developing Pacific MJO. It would be unusual to see things completely flip to low shear or busy August from a 2-month state like this, but we'll see. So this is the map that he highlighted. All of the whites into the blues represents little to no wind shear, while the yellows into the oranges and reds represent wind shear, and this is the wind shear that he's referring to. A lot of wind shear coming across the Caribbean. This is why he stated that it seems a lot like an El Nino kind of a pattern. And we know the wind shear is responsible for tearing the tops of thunderstorms off, making it harder for it to rain these days for sure, which explains the lack of rainfall. And he's basically showing that this is what we're seeing across the Caribbean as we head way out, 360 hours out, all the way out to July 24. And he's also highlighting the fact that to see some kind of a flip in the Atlantic showing more blues and whites that represent low wind shear in August is definitely going to be a bit strange, but we'll see if it actually takes place. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that as of their latest update that came out at 7:21 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:21 p.m. Jamaica time, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and we can see the reason why right here. Not really much of anything across the Caribbean. Look at the main development region, not really seeing much of anything. Some tropical waves pushing off of Africa, the usual thunderstorm activity across the east coast of the United States, a lot of lightning at that. Some troughing, lots of thunderstorms across the Bahamas, the usual afternoon thunderstorms across Cuba and Central America, nothing really significant. I know that if something should form across the Atlantic, the next name on the list is Dexter. The Eastern Pacific showing something similar. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and we can see the reason why right here. Not really seeing much of anything organized at all, just some patches of clouds here and there. And we know that if something should form, the next name on the list is Gil. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center, on the other hand, not really showing much of anything. We're finally getting in on our break for sure. The infrared right here is showing a lot of moisture though. Still affecting portions of China, Taiwan, extending all the way up into the open waters of the Western Pacific. Not really seeing much of anything affecting land in Japan, North or South Korea or the Philippines at this time. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, still seeing the broken orange lines associated with the trough affecting portions of Florida and the Bahamas, a tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica, a tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean, another tropical wave right here to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, and another tropical wave right here that just exited the coast of Africa. And we have the usual ridges of high pressure to the north that we know are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can definitely make out the clouds associated with the trough, and those are definitely bringing some Saharan thunderstorm activity to portions of Florida, Georgia, and the Bahamas as we speak. There is a tropical wave right in here. We can see the clouds right here heading into eastern Nicaragua, well, northeastern Nicaragua and eastern Honduras right there. The clouds associated with that other tropical wave definitely weighted more so on the northern side, affecting the Leeward Islands for sure. We can also see the clouds associated with that other tropical wave more so squashed to the south right here. Another tropical wave supposedly right here off the coast of Africa. And we can make out all of the entities, all of the clouds pushing from east-west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, July 9, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some central and western parishes on Wednesday afternoon, and we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? Yesterday's video, we highlighted that there was not much of anything taking place at the time of recording, but something definitely took place immediately after I stopped recording. A lot of thunderstorms flared up across sections of Hanover and St. James, and as such, some posts were made during the evening, the early night time. We saw the thunderstorms that fired up right here. This was at around 8:05 p.m. We see the sparkling white dots that represent the thunderstorms, the lightning strikes, lightning flashes taking place across second of St. James, Hanover, and even Westmoreland for sure. And there are a lot of persons over on the central and the east sides of the country were very much jealous because they really wish, they were getting in on some of the rainfall to cool down the temperatures so that they could sleep well last night. We even had footage here from Ryan, who sent us a clip of the heavy rainfall and the lightning that was taking place. Next time, Ryan, because lightning is very dangerous and you don't know what can happen, especially if you're on the veranda right there. Lightning, trust me, you don't want to get one of those what do you call them, I don't remember their name, but lightning is very dangerous. Just being out there like that, a feeder, yes, I believe it's a feeder, those small little bands of lightning. If lightning should strike close by, some little strands of lightning can definitely come close. If anything, don't touch the grill. Don't be out there barefooted. ensure that there is no water that you're stepping in or anything like that, boy. And we know the other rules of lightning safety. It states here, unplug electrical appliances. You can also turn off the electric circuit, the breaker. Stay away from doors and windows. There's another one that said stay away from plumbing, but it wasn't fitting here on Twitter, but it definitely fit on the other social media platforms. Twitter and their word limit. And that one stated stay away from plumbing. So yes, don't do the dishes, don't brush your teeth, don't shower at that time, because trust me, lightning can strike. Even although most of this lightning looked like it was out in the air and we don't really hear much thunder, we don't know what could happen with these crazy thunderstorms in the tropics at all. Alright, moving on. Alright, so regarding what was predicted for today, central and western parishes, that was where the rainfall was predicted to be today. Definitely had that. More so across sections of the north, central, and western parishes. We see the sparkling yellow dots in there that represent the lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, across section of southern St. Anne, section of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, section of Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth. Definitely got in on some of the action for sure. The visible satellite images of Jamaica right here confirming all of the thunderstorms that took place across sections of some central and especially northwestern parishes for sure. And the infrared right here confirming the upper level wind shear that blew those cloud tops off towards the north for sure. Definitely bringing more overcast skies to section of northern Jamaica. Those were the areas that pick up the most in the way of thunderstorm activity today. So eastern, northern and western parishes for sure. The live camera here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel at around 3:47 p.m. shows that we didn't get in on much of anything at all in terms of bad weather, just some cloudy conditions at that time. As you can see here, looking down on Kingston, we see New Kingston over here. We saw the wharf. Hold on, let's zoom back out. Yes, we see the Kingston Wharf, the hills of Portmore, the National Stadium right here. And I guess they started to zoom down into some of these vehicles. Definitely fair conditions for the most part. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website is confirming that we did indeed get on some rainfall today. More so across sections of some inland areas of some central parishes and western parishes. Those cloud tops blowing those, those upper level wind shear strengths blowing those cloud tops off towards the north, and most of the activity across the northern portion of some southern parishes. We definitely had some comments right here from some of our subscribers. We have Randale. Good evening, weather Jamaica. We got some rain in Brownstone St. Anne today. We have active 4081 sitting place, hot weather Jamaica. Even on our Instagram page, we had Marlon_1 God_ sitting a bit cloudy here in South Clarendon. We have one Ryan sitting raining in Hanover. It's thunder. My goodness. Rain last night, rain today. And possibly even more rainfall tomorrow. Let's see. We even have Randale right here stating, good evening weather Jamaica. We get some rain. Brownstone, hold on. Oh, Randale is on both YouTube and Facebook. Alright, thank you very much. Alright, so let us see what's happening right now. Let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. And the latest still image is showing 0105 UTC, which is actually 8:05 p.m. So this just came out 10 minutes ago, considering that it's 8:15 p.m. right now. And we can still see some leftover clouds right here across the northwest, covering sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James. Most of the thunderstorms associated with that was off to the west. Let us reload the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar to confirm. Looks like the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery is as of 5:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is actually 4:50 p.m. Jamaica time. At that time, we saw some heavy rain lashing portion of Westmoreland for sure, but we can't see what's taking place now over there. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, on the other hand, showing some light to moderate rainfall across the northern portion of southeastern Cuba, some isolated showers, some moderate to heavy rainfall at that across the northern portion of the western peninsula of Haiti. Not really seeing much of anything across northeastern Jamaica at all, though. regarding the Cayman radar, we can actually make out some of these rain bands that are the reason why we have the cloud cover right here. So like where the Cayman radar is actually working with me, we can actually see that rainfall that's taking place to the west of Jamaica on the Cayman radar right here. So moderate to heavy rainfall at that, and we also see that rainfall right here off the west coast of the island, definitely bringing just some light rainfall maybe to sections of coastal Hanover. Definitely in line with what we're seeing here. Not really seeing much rainfall there, but maybe just some light rainfall could be taking place as we speak. And the live camera here from Sea Jamaica's YouTube channel showing what's taking place around the Bogwart Gorge as we speak. As of 8:17 p.m. we can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at this time around the Rio Cobre at all. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that this is 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. The temperature forecast for tomorrow from the GFS, which is valid for 18Z on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday, shows Jamaica shaded in the grays that represents average temperatures or the normal temperatures for the month of July. And we know the normal temperature is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. That should be the temperature forecast for Jamaica on Thursday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS online Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that the power outage is coming their way on Thursday, July 10, 2025. Referring to Danieltown in Trelawney from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Browns Lane as well as Moran Bay in St. Thomas from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mommy Bay Housing Scheme in St. Anna from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sheffield, Orange Street, Rocky Hill, Dawes Lane, all in the parish of Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Weymouth Drive in St. Andrew from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And finally, we have Negro House, Rock Spring in Hanover from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside, eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep, and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. Keep hydrated by drinking lots of water throughout the day, even if you're not thirsty. And put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Still seeing that the most dry areas right here, extending all the way from Europe off the coast of Africa and trailing across the main development region into the Caribbean. The dry areas we know is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain these days. But what we like to see is the blues that represent the moist air. And you notice wherever we have the moist air, that's where we have the most clouds. And that's why we want to see more rainfall to keep water in our pipes for sure. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, so we're heading into July 10, July 11 and July 12. You can definitely see that the Saharan dust is making a comeback across our area. July 10 in the clear for us. July 11 it should be back starting out, but by July 12 definitely going to be feeling the brunt of it in these oranges and reds for sure. Maybe some hazy skies, maybe triggering some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons as usual. Still seeing that the highest waves across the Caribbean should be right here to the south of Jamaica, to the north of Panama and Colombia. The dark blues into the purples and the pinks that represents 2 to 2.5 meter wave height, and that's because of the strong easterly winds with the bright greens and the yellows that represents 15 to 20 to 25 knot winds. While if we zoom in on Jamaica regarding our wave forecast, to the south of St. Thomas 1.7 meter wave height expected, south of Clarendon 1.1 meter wave height, to the south of Westmoreland 0.8 of a meter wave height, north of Hanover 0.8 of a meter wave height, 1 meter wave height to the north of St. Anne, 1.3 meter wave height to the north of Portland. And that's because of the easterly winds that are expected for sure. Definitely averaging 16 knots to the south of St. Thomas, 15 knots to the north of Portland, 18 knots to the south of Clarendon. And we also see that the least amount of winds should be right here across portions of some central and western parishes. So that's where some of these clouds could pile up low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And we see that we still have that upper-level wind shear blowing those cloud tops off from the southwest. So we could get in on something similar to what happened today, where we have more of the cloud cover across northern Jamaica for sure. But that doesn't mean that the thunderstorms are going to be over there. It could be a case where the thunderstorms are within here across the inland areas of some central and western parishes. And then it's more so cloudy conditions on the coastal and northern areas. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the rainfall forecast, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. There should be rainfall across sticking to some central and especially western parishes. I mean, look at the dark blues into the greens. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder taking place over there in northern St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, southern St. James. The fact that both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant about this, especially in St. Elizabeth for the Euro, the GFS, more so Hanover, Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth. I wouldn't be surprised if there's even a freak storm or two. This is definitely possible. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. Look out for that afternoon rainfall, 2 p.m. Even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro is showing some rainfall in the east, the GFS not so much, but some slight rainfall. It's the most rainfall out here in the west though, up to 0.29 of an inch of rainfall, up to 0.33 of an inch of rainfall. On the Euro, the GFS, all the way up to 0.51 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds. The rainfall could definitely be more, it could definitely be less. Whatever happens, I'll definitely keep you posted on our other social media platforms. And we'll definitely take it because we're in the month of July. And in Kingston, this bar graph is being shown right here at the top. We usually receive around 50 millimeters of rainfall for the month of July. And for Montego Bay, we usually receive around 3.2 inches of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of July or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and that website to show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters that we receive on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. As the rest, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So that's what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Thursday, now we're looking at Friday. And as you can see, some slight greens are across the far eastern end of the island. Friday afternoon, however, we see rainfall across eastern, southern, and western parishes. Very interesting. Do we have the consensus on the GFS? We see the rainfall more so to the north of us on the GFS. Then on Friday afternoon, we see that rainfall across the eastern and the western ends of the island. Very interesting. Let us see what Saturday morning shows. On Saturday morning, we see rainfall to the south of us. On Saturday afternoon, we see rainfall across the eastern and western portion of the island. Let us see what the GFS shows. Saturday morning, rainfall to the south of us across the eastern end of the island. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across the eastern and western portion of the island. Very interesting that both maps are showing something similar. What does Sunday morning show? On Sunday morning, not really seeing much, maybe some isolated showers out east. Sunday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across central and western parishes. That's what the GFS shows. Sunday morning, nothing. Sunday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across central and western parishes. That's what Monday morning shows. On Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, maybe some isolated showers across eastern, southern, and western parishes. To see if we have the consensus on the GFS. Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, rainfall across looks to be eastern Jamaica. And look at that. Early afternoon is eastern Jamaica. Late afternoon is southern and western parishes. Very interesting for that Monday. What do we see on Tuesday morning? On Tuesday morning, maybe some isolated showers out east. Tuesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across central and western parishes. Looking a bit more active for the next 7 days with the afternoon rainfall. We'll definitely take it. We want the rainfall for sure. Then at the end of the 168 hours, This is valid for Wednesday, July 16. We see some rainfall across the southern and the eastern ends of the island. We also see some moisture across the eastern to the central Caribbean. Definitely looking bright. Maybe some rainfall in the forecast. Tuesday morning on the GFS, nothing. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across central western parishes. Then we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is also valid for Wednesday, July 16. Don't really see much. So we have some contrast. But we do see that moisture extending from the eastern to the central Caribbean though. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall still should be across portion of northern South America into Central America, wherever we see the dark reds into the purples and the pinks. That's the 2 all the way up to 5, maybe even up to 6 inches of rainfall or more, especially right here off the coast of Nicaragua and Costa Rica. Very interesting. Definitely flood triggering rainfall. While other areas like Florida, the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles, and the Lesser Antilles are showing rainfall rates anywhere from the greens into the yellows and oranges, and rates up to 1 inch of rainfall, from at least up to 1 inch of rainfall or less for those areas. And regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation, the Euro is still adamant that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be across the far eastern end of the island, where it's up to 50 millimeters of rainfall right there. GFS is adamant that the most rainfall should be across the western end. Could be about the same. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Whatever happens, we'll definitely take it. Regarding the rest of the Caribbean though, we can definitely see the thunderstorms lashing portion of Florida, Georgia, section of South Carolina, the Bahamas as we speak, so too section of Cuba. The usual thunderstorm activity across sections of northern South America into Central America. But if we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery right here, the wide Doppler radar, we can actually make out some rainfall across section of the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, section of Belize, section of central to western Cuba, section of the northern Bahamas, western Florida. We see some of that rainfall that portion of central to western Puerto Rico got in on today. We see northern Venezuela and northeastern Venezuela. We can even make out the isolated shores pushing through to the north of Barbados, pushing towards Martinique as well. Definitely getting on some rainfall over there for sure. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall, as usual, is going to be across northern South America, talking about Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, while other areas like Venezuela, Panama, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, section of the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, sections of Florida, section of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, section of El Salvador, Honduras. Definitely going to be getting on some rainfall. So too eastern Nicaragua getting on some of that action as well. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.